This video is not intended for anyone 13 or younger. Hello viewers and welcome back to another My Hero Academia chapter reaction, and I'm your humble host, Josh24214, and today we are tackling chapter 285. And on the previous chapter we had a bit of a flashback back to UA with Midoriya trying to get used to Uraraka's zero gravity as basically a shortcut to be technically practicing for flow when it finally emerged 2 chapters ago. And yeah, and we're still continuing that fight between Midoriya and Shigaraki at the end of the flashback, and we also got a lot of character development for Bakugo, who's trying to atone for all the mistakes he's done throughout the entire series, from the beginning of the series till after the second fight between Bakugo and Midoriya. So let us continue where we left off and let's see where this chapter goes with chapter 285. Before we get started, make sure you hit that subscribe button. It only takes 2 simple clicks. Click, click. Enjoy the episode. So we start off the chapter with no cover as always, and we have our usual title crawl of the logo of My Hero Academia by Kohei Horikoshi, translation by Cabal Cook, and lettering by John Hurt as always. And no title, okay, for the chapter, okay, then maybe they'll bring it up sooner or later. And for our first panel on the first page, we have a bit of a flashback to what happened with the after the events of the summer training arc with the fight against musculature with one of the random doctors saying that you can't to Midoriya, you can't do that for 2 3 more times or you'll officially lose the use of your arms. And we get a text recap of the random doctor saying, I gave you 2 or 3 more times, but if you keep getting injured like this, you may permanently lose the use of your arms. And yeah, basically as we cut back to Monday, he's still continuing fighting Shigaraki, basically at 100%. So he's officially boycotting the idea of not about holding back and trying to like lower the power output. He's just going 100%, and it's perfectly justifiable. Midoriya, we don't know if Gran Torino is dead, and Midoriya's kinda angry at the moment, so yeah, he's not thinking straight. And I let that slide because, well, he did lose one of his senseis, and yeah, and he just wants to beat the living tar out of Shigaraki. So yeah, they're fighting still, continuing causing massive explosions as throughout the panels on the first page. As we cut to the next to our second page, we continue with the fight with Midoriya's arm getting bloodied and broken throughout the by doing those 100% punches. And and we get more text of Midoriya saying in his head, inner monologue, saying, that was 3 flyby hits, as he gets ready for another attack, using Black Whip to drag Shigaraki towards him so he can punch him, and he does his Detroit Smash and just basically punching him in the face. And for the next page, we get a full page spread of Shigaraki and Midoriya still duking it out with Midoriya saying, Wyoming Smash, St. Louis Smash, just trying to beat the living tar out of Shigaraki while Shigaraki's just trying to block the hits and trying to stay alive at this point. And yeah, as we continue on the next page, we quickly cut into Shigaraki's head with his inner monologue saying, I'm getting hurt faster than I can heal. It's over if I don't focus on defense. If only those scummy heroes hadn't pushed me to my limit. No. As we quickly cut inside to Shigaraki's head, saying, the other than my imperfect body, one for all is, as we quickly cut back to reality with Shigaraki saying, by opening up his hand, saying, getting in the way of my dreams. As we quickly cut back to a very pissed off Midoriya as he shouts to him in front of Shigaraki saying, that's what this power is for. As he getting ready for another punch in the face using Black Whip as a get over here, while on the next page he does another 100% punch by doing his Texas smash and just basically creates an atomic equivalent of the atomic bomb, blowing up the entire battlefield with that Texas smash. So yeah, like I said, Midoriya is not thinking straight, and he's not holding back the power because he lost Gran Torino. We don't know if Gran Torino's okay, so as after that hit, that punch, Midoriya has Shigaraki by Black Whip, and he's just about to do something. And we quickly cut into Shigaraki's inner monologue, saying, there's got to be a way to put this kid down for good. Some other quirk. Gotta find one. As we cut back to Manuel and Bakugo and everybody else on the ground, with Manuel saying, amazing! And Bakugo's just continues saying, no, he's gonna lose if he keeps up. And yeah, Bakugo realizes what's going on, and yeah, Midoriya's going to be at his last legs super quickly if Bakugo doesn't do something. And we have a bit of, on the next page, we got the dialogue with all the other heroes on the ground, with Bakugo continuing saying, Deku's using his legs and Air Force to negate the blowback, controlling multiple quirks simultaneously. It's taking every skill he's got to keep Shigaraki in the air. But since that first hit didn't seal the deal, it's now an endurance match. Deku can't last forever against a guy who can regenerate. And yeah, it kind of makes sense that Midoriya is not going to win this fight if this fight keeps going. And Bakugo continues talking, saying, in a few minutes he'll be dust and have his power taken from him. As we continue with all the other heroes, with Bakugo continuing from the previous quote saying, you finished with that first aid, Todoroki? And Todoroki just says, yeah, what do you need? And Bakugo continues, shut up and grab a hold of me. And Bakugo continues more, Endeavor, don't waste any fire on flying up there, cause I got that part covered. And Todoroki, keep Endeavor cool until the last possible moment. So Bakugo's getting a plan together. And Endeavor continues saying on the next page, saying, you're thinking I should finish him off with a max firepower attack. Leave it to me. And we have Rocklock continuing saying, but they're just kids. And Todoroki just interrupts Rocklock saying, take care of Sensei and the others. As Rocklock is kind of shocked about this, and we get into Rocklock's inner monologue saying, what am I doubting them? Considering I already admitted that Deku is one hell of a hero. And Rocklock just says, got it. As Bakugo takes Todoroki and Endeavor up using Bakugo's explosive quirk and getting their plan together. And with Bakugo continuing going up and up to where Midoriya and Shigaraki continuing, with Bakugo talking again, saying, the moment when Black Whip is stretched out is when I strike. When I dive in there, you two get out so you don't get caught in the blast. And with Todoroki continuing saying, Midoriya, hang in there, with Bakugo and Todoroki getting worried about what's going on up there. And so on the next page, we get into Bakugo's inner head as we get the flashback from the previous chapters, with All Might's conversation saying, I don't want to speculate and talk about things I'm not sure of, with Bakugo going up as we get another flashback to when Bakugo, Midoriya, and All Might were talking, and with Bakugo saying, he's basically the one who basically created One for All, right? Isn't it an offshoot of his power? Multiple quirks? It's the same as him. And with Bakugo continuing in his inner monologue saying, even if One for All is a cursed power, as we get multiple flashbacks to basically the beginning of My Hero Academia with Midoriya being super depressed before he got his quirk and getting bullied by Bakugo, and we have Bakugo thinking back all the stuff he's done and what we see multiple flashbacks with Bakugo saying in his head. At the same time, it's as we get multiple flashbacks of All Might still good in his prime with helping people, and we get the younger versions of Bakugo and Midoriya as kids flashbacks, seeing All Might on the television, and we have a reminder, a flashback to when Bakugo blew up Midoriya's hero analysis from My Future number 13 book and tossed it into the koi pond back at the beginning of the series. And then another flashback to the first time Midoriya and Bakugo had their fight when they first got into the UA, with the reminder from Midoriya, I'm not going to be your worthless punching bag Deku anymore. Forever. Kachan, and we continue on the next page as we cut back to Midoriya now, who's fighting Shigaraki with the past version of Midoriya saying, I'm the Deku who always does his best. As Midoriya keeps fighting and Bakugo just reminding, like, oh god, I did horrible things. As we quickly cut back to the fight with Midoriya and Shigaraki still going, as Midoriya's just pulling Shigaraki back down again, getting ready for another punch. And our three other heroes finally arrive with Endeavor, Bakugo, and Todoroki, with Bakugo saying, now, as Bakugo and Todoroki launch Endeavor into the air, and Endeavor does basically a simple move to keep Shigaraki not from moving, and Endeavor just pulls a full Nelson on Shigaraki, so he's kind of stuck, and Endeavor's just gonna try and blow up Shigaraki. And on the next page, we have Midoriya confused by all of this new random event with him saying in, and Endeavor just interrupts saying, get out of here! And Shigaraki just interrupts again saying, you again! As Endeavor just gets ready for his big attack, and he does his prominence burn and just cooks Shigaraki alive, basically at this point, burning him alive, as on the next page we have Shigaraki just burning into a crisp by taking a full blast of prominence burn, as we basically quickly jump back into the dream world of Shigaraki, as we see an all too familiar hand coming out of the darkness, with it saying, Tomura, lend me your body. And it's basically the the mental image of All for One still clinging around, and he's and the and All for One's mental image is like, hey, you know what, let me take over, I can kill him for you. And what did I say? What did I say that somehow that's going to crop up again, and he's going to try and take over Shigaraki's body again? As we get the continuation of after that, we have Endeavor still doing prominence burn to burn Shigaraki to a crisp, and we do see that there's some life still in there with Shigaraki saying, ugh. As we see Endeavor's kind of shocked about this new development, and we see Bakugo and Todoroki shocked about this too, saying, Endeavor! As we cut to page 14. Oh god. As we see that Tomura Shigaraki manages to somehow pierce through Endeavor through the chest with three almost recognizable tendrils coming out of Endeavor's back. As we see Endeavor starting to fall down with that injury, that three-pronged injury, with Endeavor saying, "How are you not dead yet?" As we cut away back to the smoldering corpse of Shigaraki, who's basically burned up to a crisp with the old recognizable tendrils now doing his dirty work, and Shigaraki's trying to say something, but it's so jarbled at this point, being Prominence burned to death, and basically a skeleton at this point. As we see in the next panel, that Shigaraki unleashes the tendrils that All For One used against All Might from all the way from their fight at Kamino Ward, with Shigaraki, who's no longer sounding like Shigaraki but All For One, saying "little brother," referring to Midoriya as with All For One talking to the little brother, his All For One's little brother that got One For All in the first place. As we quickly cut to the next page, we quickly cut back to Bakugo, seeing this all familiar attack that he saw, and seeing what's going on, we get into his inner monologue saying, "At that moment," as Bakugo just gets ready to use his explosions again, and he blasts off with the inner monologue continuing saying, "There were no thoughts," as we get rapid flashbacks to everything that Bakugo went through this far. As we cut to the last two pages with Bakugo trying to help Midoriya, with the inner monologue saying, "In my head, my body," as we get the chapter number 285. And on the last panel of the chapter, we get the last bit of dialogue of Bakugo saying, "just moved on its own," as a reference to the fight with Midoriya trying to save Bakugo from the slime monster all the way back then. And we finally come full circle, but now we see that Bakugo does save Midoriya by shoving him out of the way. But instead, Bakugo takes the hit of those tendrils going through his shoulder, his stomach, through the back. At least two good clean hits on Bakugo.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
With the title finally revealed saying Kasuki Bakugo Rising as part of the whole Bakugo's origin and then Bakugo's Rising. And yeah, we don't know 100% yet that it may be implied that Bakugo may have taken a fatal shot and Bakugo may die at the end of this arc if he doesn't get medical help. And yeah, the next chapter will hit on October 4th, so we only have to wait until next week. And yeah, that's sadly the end of the chapter. And yeah, things look kind of grim with All For One taking over Shigaraki's body. And yeah, with the whole shocking moment of Bakugo taking the hit for Midoriya, that was meant for Midoriya, those tendrils. And we don't know 100% sure that Bakugo's going to be okay, but most likely before the fangirls freak out, that maybe Bakugo will survive because he's a main character. Horikoshi, if Horikoshi wants to kill Bakugo off, yeah, there would have been some early red flags, and we all know he's the main character. He's one of the main characters, so he can't really die. So, yeah, so I think Bakugo's going to survive, and he's just going to be okay and take the hit, and he'll be basically out of this fight for the rest of the chapter, and yeah, we'll have to wait and see until next week. So yeah, this chapter's getting really interesting, and hopefully Bakugo does survive. But if Horikoshi just says, "Nah, I think Bakugo had his time, and I'm just gonna kill him off," and I know there's still some dialogue saying there was some plot points that need to be brought up with Bakugo, so I think Bakugo is going to be okay. He's just out of this fight, just like with Endeavor. And I did say before, I don't think Midoriya is ready to beat Shigaraki at this stage. And I think it's going to take a big sacrifice to get Midoriya away from Shigaraki. And this might be the sacrifice that needs to be done before Midoriya can be okay and still be able to train more with All for One and getting the other quirks. So, yeah. I don't know if Bakugo's gonna make it. It's up to the writer at this point. We don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. And this has been your humble host, Josh24214, and I will see you all at chapter 286. And we'll just have to wait and see. So, until then, have a good day, everybody, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.